Before digital cameras, every photograph you ever took existed on a roll of film before you could see it. The moment was already captured. The light, the faces, the expression that only lasted a half a second. All of it, fully real, fully present, sitting on that roll of film. But until it went through the darkroom, you couldn't see any of it. The image wasn't missing, it just hadn't been developed yet. You're probably like most people. You have a gratitude practice, a list, a habit, a few things you name every morning. And you mean every word of it. But what if the list is the film roll and you've never been into the darkroom? Everything you're grateful for is already there, fully present. You just haven't developed it yet. Have you ever written a gratitude list and felt almost nothing? Not because you were ungrateful, but because the list became a routine. Same items, same order, same words. And your experience never got any deeper. It's a little like taking that roll of film to the lab and then instead of developing it, just reading the label on the canister. You know there's something meaningful in there, but you never went inside to see it. Now, if that's happened to you, if you've sat down to be grateful and felt almost nothing, I want you to hear this clearly. That is not ingratitude. That is a practice that was taught one question, and nobody taught you the second one. You answered the first question faithfully. You named what you appreciated, and then you stopped because no one told you there was anywhere else to go. Now, a few years ago, I had that same experience. Same list, same items, same order. And I realized I wasn't really present to any of it. So I chose one thing I'd named 100 times. And then I asked one question I'd never asked before. Why does this matter to me? The answer was longer than the list had ever been. And that bothered me, because if one question could do that, why hadn't anyone taught me to ask it? That's why I created the Gratitude Awareness course. 6 lessons, 10 to 14 minutes each, a progression that moves you from naming what you appreciate to recognize what it means. If you've ever felt like your gratitude practice could go deeper, can I get a yes in the chat? Can I get a thumbs up wherever you're at? Now let me show you how this works. First, you learn that one question that changes everything. Not what you're grateful for, but why it matters. That single shift moves you from the label on the canister into the darkroom. Then you learn how recognition can strengthen the internal state from which you meet your life. Not by denying difficulty, but by bringing what is generally present back into view. Don't you think that changes everything? Next, you learn that gratitude has width. One ordinary experience, a meal, a conversation, a glass of water, holds far more contribution and support than you've ever recognized. And then you learn that gratitude has depth. Now, width asks what else is connected to this, but depth asks, what does this mean to me? Those two questions together make the picture more complete. Then you bring it all into a recognition audit. What evidence can you see? What support? What capacity? What choice becomes visible that wasn't visible before? See, awareness creates choice. Now, finally, you'll learn gratitude in advance, a practice called future memory, where you become emotionally involved with a chosen future, so that your present identity, your standards, and your execution can begin to align with it today. Now, I hope this is starting to make sense, and I want you to stay with me because the last part is where it all comes together. Just imagine sitting down tomorrow morning and instead of moving through a list, you move into recognition. One familiar thing, one honest question, and the picture is more complete than it's ever been. Not because your circumstances changed, because you went into the dark room. You developed what was already there. And from that place, steadier, wider, more aware of what was genuinely present, you met whatever comes next. Because at Total Mind Power Institute, I believe that gratitude is not something you lack. It's just something you haven't fully developed yet. The film is already on the roll. The moments, the meaning, the support, the evidence, you've lived it. And it's already present in your life. But it's waiting for the dark room. For $27, you get 6 lessons and a practice you can use the same day. That's not the price of a course. That's a decision to develop what's already there. So what are you waiting for? I want to invite you to go to gratitude.totalmindpower.com and take the first lesson today. Everything you're looking for in a gratitude practice, it's already there. You just haven't been to the dark room yet.